After giving my kids $150,000, I tested them for $250. Figure it out yourself, my son said. Then I revealed the $350 million ticket. My son John Williams hung up on me at 3:47 p.m. On a Tuesday afternoon, I had a $350 million lottery ticket in my other hand. Dad, figure it out yourself, I'm busy. The call went dead. I sat in my living room, the same place I'd raised him, where I'd patched his skinned knees and stayed up late assisting with college applications, staring at my phone. John had just failed the most important test of his life. He didn't realize it yet. My name is David Williams. I'm 70 years old. 4 weeks ago, at 11:23 p.m., I stepped inside a 7-Eleven on Brookshire Avenue. Went purchase milk and came out with a Mega Millions ticket. I did not verify the numbers until 4 days later. When I did, my hands trembled so severely that I had to check 3 times. All 6 digits matched. $350 million in lump sum payout, $210 million after taxes. I did not inform anyone. Not John, nor my daughter Margaret Williams. Not a single individual. Instead, I contacted Benjamin Carter, a lawyer I had known for 40 years. Ben managed my wife's estate after she died 8 years ago, assisted with my will and defended me in a property dispute. He was 65, had been practicing law for 40 years, and had never bullshitted me. Ben, we need to meet today. It is urgent. We met in his office at 2 p.m. I showed him the ticket. He became pale. Actually, pale. Jesus Christ, David. I have not claimed it yet. Why not? Because I want to do things correctly. I want to preserve the money. I wish to set up trusts. I want to make sure my relatives cannot touch it until I allow them to. Ben reclined back in his leather chair. You do not trust them? I do not know yet. What do you mean? I mean I am going to find out. Let me clarify. I had been a father for 42 years. John was born when I was 25. Margaret arrived 3 years later. I worked for Ford Motor Company for 40 years. Assembly line, floor supervisor, plant manager, 60-hour weeks with extra shifts. Whatever it required to provide kids with possibilities, I never had. My wife Linda Williams died when John was 34 and Margaret was 31. Breast cancer develops quickly and brutally. 6 months from diagnosis to funeral. After she died, something changed. John and Margaret began phoning and visiting less. I told myself they were busy. Margaret runs a real estate business, whereas John runs a consultancy firm. They had their own lives until the demands started. First it was John. Dad, I'm in a bind. The company has some cash flow concerns. Can you lend me $25,000 till we finalize this transaction? I gave it to him, never asked for it back. 3 months later, Dad, I made some awful investments. I maxed up my credit cards. If Emily finds out, she will kill me. Can you help? Just $45,000. I will pay you back. I paid off his credit cards. He didn't mention it again. Margaret was terrible. Called weeping about her mortgage being 3 months late, her car breaking down and requiring a new gearbox, and her daughter's expensive school tuition. Every time I assisted, I used my retirement assets, sold bonds, and cashed out a tiny life insurance policy. I never said how much it cost me. I never made them feel horrible about it, since that is what fathers do. You sacrifice, provide, and don't keep score. Except they were keeping score, but not in the way I expected. 2 months before winning the jackpot, I contacted John on his birthday. I received his voicemail, left a message, and never heard back. I phoned back 3 days later. Hello son. Just checking in. I haven't heard from you in a while, he texted back. I'm quite busy at work. We'll call when I can. He never did. I traveled to his house in Bloomfield Hills, which is 45 minutes from my residence. Unannounced. Ringed the doorbell. His wife Emily responded. Oh David. Hi. She did not smile. Did not welcome me in. Is John home? He's working. May I come in for a minute? We are genuinely about to go. Perhaps call first next time. The door closed. I stood on his doorstep. I was standing on the porch of a house for which I had assisted with the down payment, feeling like a rejected door-to-door salesperson. Margaret was different, yet the same. She'd call me when she needed something, but then cancel arrangements at the last minute. Forget my birthday, and avoid holidays with vague explanations about being swamped. Last Thanksgiving, I cooked for 12 hours, set the table for 3 with turkey, stuffing, and 3 different pies. John texted at 11 a.m. Sorry Dad. Emily's family demanded we visit them next year. Margaret called at 2 p.m. Dad, I am so fatigued, Can we reschedule? I ate supper alone, froze the leftovers, and tossed the most of them away a month later. That's when I started to see a trend. I served as their ATM, safety net, and final resort. But I was not their father. Not in any way that counted. When I won the lotto, my first thought was not to celebrate. It was curiosity. Would they help me if I actually had nothing? If I was broke, desperate and in genuine need, or if I was simply an inconvenience? Ben helped me organize things. Created an irrevocable trust, claimed the prizes through the trust, set up accounts they couldn't track, and submitted all documentation with the State Lottery Commission in the trust's name rather than mine. Are you completely certain about this? Ben inquired as we concluded everything. I need to know who they are. And if they fail your exam, I will know too. We claimed our prizes on a Friday. The check cleared on Monday. By Tuesday afternoon, I had $210 million in investment accounts handled by Whitmore Financial Group, a business Ben suggested and led by Sandra Whitmore, a fiduciary advisor with 26 years of expertise. Are your children unaware of this? Sandra inquired during our first meeting. No. Can I ask why? Because I'm going to find out whether they deserve it. She nodded slowly. I have seen this before. Sudden riches and family dynamics change. People you thought you know become strangers. What occurs is largely determined by the family, but in my experience, money does not change individuals. It simply exposes who they always were. I administered the test on a Tuesday. I called John first, around 3:30 p.m. He answered the fourth ring. Dad? What's up? I am at a meeting. John, I need to ask you a question. I'm in danger. What type of trouble? I am unable to purchase my cardiac medication this month. My medicine ran out and I don't have the money to replenish it until my Social Security checks arrive. Can you assist me with $250? Only till the 15th. There was silence then. Dad. I can't keep condoning this behavior. That tone reminded me of a teenager asking for beer money. Enabling what kind of behavior? The persistent need for financial assistance. You should learn to budget properly. You are on a fixed income. You should live within your means. John, this is my heart medicine. I need it to survive. Have you tried phoning the medicine company? They offer support services. Or go to the emergency room. They can't turn you away. I asked my kid for $250 and told him I couldn't. Emily and I have costs. Private school for the children. The boat payment. We're strained thin. The boat. Last summer, I witnessed him buy a 35-foot yacht. I helped him qualify for a boat loan by paying down his credit cards. You have a boat, but you cannot assist your father with medication. That is not fair, Dad. Look, Margaret and I have been speaking. You are getting older. You're experiencing these troubles. Perhaps it is time to investigate assisted living. They manage everything, from meds to meals. You wouldn't have to worry. Assisted living. They intended to warehouse me. John, I'm going to block your number for a bit. Margaret believes we are being too gentle. She says, sometimes tough love is what people need to finally make changes. I believe she is correct. You're only blocking me for a month or so. Give yourself time to work things out. I have to go. The meeting has begun. The call went dead. I sat there numb. My kid had blocked me instead of giving me $250. I looked at my phone's bank app, which displayed $210 million in assets. Then I phoned Margaret. Margaret answered the second ring. Dad, this is not a good moment. Margaret, what do I need help with? I cannot afford my cardiac medicine. I need $250 till I receive Social Security. She laughed. Actually laughed. Are you serious now? Yes. I'm looking for assistance. Dad, I noticed your Facebook post from yesterday. You were in Starbucks. You shared a photo of a latte. If you can afford Starbucks, then you can afford your medicines. That was a tiny coffee. $3. $3 adds up. Do you know what your problem is? You don't keep track of your spending. You make these small purchases and wonder why you are broke. That is not my concern. I'm asking my daughter for help with medicine. I need to live, and I can't help you. I have a mortgage. I have automobile payments. I have Melissa's tuition. Do you believe I am made of money? I am not asking for much. It never happens once with you, Dad. It is always something. You need to organize your funds. Perhaps sell the house. Downsize. I have to go. Showings all afternoon. Click. She hung up. I sat there with my phone in my hand, watching the screen go dark. 2 calls and 2 denials. I had 1 call remaining. My grandson. Hudson Williams, was 20 years old, John's child. He went to Wayne State University to study engineering. We lived in a tiny apartment near university. I worked part-time in a bookshop called Chapter House on Woodward Avenue, earning around $15 per hour. We had always been tight. Even when John began to withdraw, Hudson would call me and say, "Come over for Sunday dinners. Pay attention when I speak." I last saw him 3 weeks ago, and he stated that his automobile was dying. "The transmission is running. The mechanic says it will cost more to fix than the car is worth." "What are you planning to do?" "Continue driving it till it dies, I suppose. Cannot afford anything else." I was ready to contact him and ask for money, which he clearly did not have. My hand trembled when I called. He responded promptly. "Hey Grandpa. What's up?" Just hearing his voice, genuinely pleased to hear from me, made my throat tighten. "Hudson, I need to ask you something. I'm in a bad situation." "What is wrong?" "Are you okay? I am unable to purchase my cardiac medication this month. I need around $250 till my Social Security check arrives. I understand you have a restricted budget. So, if you can't, how much do you require exactly?" No hesitancy, no lectures, just how much? $250. "But Hudson, I understand you're working your way through school. If you don't have it, I have around $600 in my checking account. I can Venmo it right now. Do you require more? I can take up extra shifts for $600, which is probably all he has till his next payday." "Hudson, I am unable to accept your money." "Grandpa, stop. You have never asked me for anything. Not once, ever. Last year, when my car broke down, you provided me rides for 3 months. When I couldn't afford textbooks, you paid for them. You don't beg for aid. So, if you are asking now, it is serious. I am sending the money right now." I could hear him tapping his phone and typing. "I mailed $600. Is this enough? Do you need me to drive down? I can leave right now. Are you okay? Should I call anyone?" My eyes were burning. "Hudson, I'm okay. The money helps. I can't explain what this implies. You do not have to. You are my granddad. I adore you." We hung up. I sat in my living room, crying for the first time since Linda's funeral the weekend before. I purchased Hudson a Honda of Detroit. I asked for the sales manager. "I want to buy an automobile. Cash. I need it delivered to an Ann Arbor address by Saturday a.m. "What sort of automobile?" "Honda Civic. New 2023. Silver. Loaded with every safety feature available. Whatever it costs." "That's around $30,000, sir." "Done. Here is the delivery address." Saturday morning, 9 a.m. I called Hudson. "Can you come by the house this afternoon? I need assistance with something." "Sure, I will depart in an hour." He drove up in his dying Nissan. At 11:30 a.m. The Civic was parked in the driveway behind me, wrapped in tarp. "What is below the tarp?" he asked, going up. "Come see." I lifted the tarp off. Hudson paused and gazed. "Grandpa, whose automobile is that?" "Yours." "What?" "The title is in your name. Insurance is paid for 1 year. It is yours." He simply stood there staring between me and the automobile. "I cannot accept this." "Yes, you can. You provided me $600 right when I needed it. When you had nothing. When your father wouldn't even speak to me. This is what it meant to me." He was weeping now. "Grandpa, this is too much. It's not enough, but it is a start." He hugged me. They actually hugged me. Not the obligatory Christmas embrace, but one that means something. "I love you," he said. "I love you too, child." Sunday afternoon, I received a call from John. "Dad, we need to discuss. Margaret and I are coming over." They came at 2 p.m. John's black Audi and Margaret's white Mercedes. Both of them dressed as if they were heading to a country club. They walked in without knocking. Hudson was in the driveway, cleaning his new automobile with a big smile. "Whose car is that?" Margaret demanded. "Mine," Hudson announced, waving. "Grandpa bought it for me." John's face turned from perplexed to scarlet in roughly 3 seconds. "Dad, kitchen." We sat at my kitchen table, where I'd fed them for 30 years, helped with schoolwork, listened to adolescent dramas, and tried to raise them to be good human beings. "Where did you receive the money for your car?" John described his voice as tight and controlled, similar to the one he used in business meetings. "I had some savings." Margaret leaned forward. "Last week you begged us for prescription money. This week you're purchasing automobiles. What's happening?" "Was I begging?" I kept my voice quiet. I believed I was asking my children for assistance. "Do not play games, John." Snap. How much did the automobile cost? $30,000? $35,000? Where did the money come from? I stared at him. At the Rolex on his wrist, and Margaret's luxury purse on my table. I opted not to purchase my cardiac medication. Cars for adoring grandchildren seemed more vital. Margaret's face lost its color. You what? You have heard me. That is absurd. Margaret gave a gasp. You can't just stop taking your medicines. Oh, now you're concerned about my health. Dad, this is not humorous. John stated that if you are experiencing an episode, we need to discuss how we can help you. Episode? That's a good word for it. I am serious. This behavior does not make sense. You are either lying about being broke or having a breakdown. I rose up, went to the living room, returned with a folder, and slid it over the table. Let's speak about money, I suggested. John opened it. Inside I found bank statements, loan documents, and printouts that Ben had prepared. March 2022, I stated. John, you contacted me about $25,000 in company cash flow concerns. Remember? His face became white. I pulled it out of my retirement fund. You claimed you would repay me. You never did. Dad, July 2022. You required $45,000 to cover credit card debt. I sold bonds and abandoned me. You thanked me once and never mentioned it again. I turned to Margaret. Margaret, your mortgage is 3 months overdue. I handed you $20,000. You cried. Said I saved your life. That was 15 months ago. You've contacted me twice since then, each time's asking for more money. She murmured, that's not fair. Your automobile gearbox costs $4,000. Melissa's tuition is $8,000. Your property tax bill is $6,500. I set down the statements. Every transaction, transfer, and check. Do you realize how much I have given you both over the last 3 years? They didn't respond. $150,000, not loans or gifts, because you never paid anything back. The kitchen remained silent. And when I phoned you, I pleaded for $250 for medication because I needed to survive. You have blocked me, John. You laughed at me, Margaret. Hudson arrived at the doorway. He had been listening. His face was paler. You guys have been taking money from Grandpa, he stated softly. For years. Margaret responded. That's different. We are his children, and I am his grandson. He phoned me for assistance. I handed him every single dollar I had. What have you given him? A lecture, I said. About finances, tough love, and assisted living. Dad, if we had known, John began. If you had known what? That I really needed help? That I wasn't being too dramatic? We thought. And you thought nothing. You didn't think about me. I selected another document from the folder and handed it to John. What's this? He asked. A test, I explained. Hudson, ask them a question. Hudson gazed at me before turning to face his father and aunt. If grandfather truly couldn't afford his prescription, he explained softly. Would you aid him if he was in serious difficulty right now? Silence. The hesitation. That was all that I needed to see. That's what I thought, I explained. I proceeded to the kitchen drawer, picked out an envelope and presented it to Hudson. Open it. He pulled out a lottery ticket, glanced at it, and then took out his phone. I watched his face get pale and his hands shake. Grandpa, he muttered. This is the winning Mega Millions ticket from 4 weeks ago. $350 million. John lunged at it. Hudson drew back and held it to his chest. Already claimed, I said quietly, sitting in trusts and investment accounts with Benjamin Carter as CEO. All are lawful and protected. I turned to face John and Margaret. If you'd helped me, if you'd showed even a modest act of compassion, I would have told everyone. Set up trusts for yourself and your children to ensure you never worry about money again. Margaret's face wrinkled. Dad, please. But you did not aid me. You blocked me. You laughed. You instructed me to sort it out myself. We did not know. John stood there, his voice frantic. How was we expected to know? You were not. That was the point. I needed to know who you were because I had nothing. Helping me would cost you something. This is not fair. Margaret was weeping now. You fooled us. No, I tested you, and you failed. John grasped my arm. Dad, please. We made an error. This is something we can address. Just give us another opportunity. I moved my arm away. I gave you opportunities for 3 years. Every time you requested for money, I provided it without hesitation. Every time you missed holidays, neglected birthdays, or viewed me as a nuisance. Those were all chances. I grabbed up my phone, brought up Ben's email, and showed it to them. Benjamin Carter acquired several bills for me this morning. Your boat loan, John, Margaret's credit card, her second mortgage, and your vehicle payment. I now own them. What? John murmured. I am your creditor. 24% interest, industry norm, with the entire balance due in 30 days. 30 days? Margaret yelled. We don't have that much money. I understand that is the objective. What do you want from us? John's voice shook now. I want you to understand what it's like to need aid yet have nowhere to turn. You cannot do this. Margaret was on her feet. We are your children, and I am your father. The father you abandoned when I was no longer helpful. If we can't pay, John couldn't complete his sentence. Then I seize collateral, such as the boat and your automobiles, as allowed by the agreement. I have terrific lawyers now. Ben Carter and his entire business. If necessary, they will keep you in court until you become impoverished. Why are you doing this? Margaret wept. Because you need to know what I learned. That not everyone who is meant to love you does. I turned to Hudson and placed my hand on his shoulder. Your tuition is covered. Undergraduate and graduate school. Everything is included. Tuition, housing, and books. Hudson was also weeping now. Grandpa, you chose to help me even though it cost you everything you had. That is worth more than any sum of money. John and Margaret stood there, watching their fortune evaporate and go to Hudson instead. Marcus, please. Dad. Please. We apologize. We will do better. You'll do what? Pretend you adore me because I'm wealthy today. Visit me because you have to, rather than because you want to. That is not fair, Margaret shouted. You're correct. It's not fair, but it's honest, which is more than I received from any of you. They departed 20 minutes later. No goodbyes. It didn't matter how you apologized. Hudson stayed. Grandpa, he spoke gently. Did you truly need that medicine? No, I am healthy. The test was fraudulent, but the money you provided us was real. Every dime. Because when someone you care about requires assistance, you provide it. There are no questions or conditions. What are you going to do with all this money? I am going to enjoy my life, travel, and do things that your grandma and I never had the opportunity to do. And I'll make certain that you never have to worry about school loans or starting off poor, like I did. He claimed they will return. When they understand you're serious. I understand. That's why Ben has already drafted restraining orders. This is ridiculous. It is necessary. They must learn there are repercussions. That I am not a bank. I am their father, and dads deserve respect. Hudson hugged me again. I'm sorry they are like this. Do not apologize for them. You are nothing like them. Marcus came to my door 2 days later. I did not allow him in. Dad, I need to talk to you. No, thanks. 5 minutes. You have blocked my number, remember? Tough love to help me learn. I was mistaken. I apologize. Can we just speak about what? About your financial needs. Regarding how you will pledge to change if I give you another opportunity. He stared at the ground. Emily left me. It astonished me. What? She found out about the debt and the boat being repossessed. She's going to file for divorce and take the children. I should have felt something. Sympathy, remorse, whatever. I didn't feel anything. I am sad to hear that. That is it. Is this all you have to say? What would you like me to say, Marcus? I'd like you to help me. I'm your son now. I am your father. When you needed $250 for me, I was an inconvenience. I made an error. You made a decision. You now live with it. So that's all. Are you just going to shut me off after everything? After everything. I laughed. A bitter sound. Marcus, I gave you everything. You took my time, money and pride and offered me nothing when I needed you the most. I can't even recognize you anymore. Good. Since the guy you knew was a doormat. This man respects himself. I closed the door. 3 months later, I was sitting on the beach in Hawaii. Hudson had spring break. I flew him out first class. We slept at the Four Seasons, went snorkeling, and ate at restaurants where the menus did not include pricing. This is insane, Grandpa, he said one night during supper. I am eating a $120 steak. Get accustomed to it. When I die, everything will go to you. The entire trust. I do not want to think about that. Okay. I need you to know. Ben has all of the papers. The trust is unwavering. Marcus and Margaret cannot argue. I made certain. Did they try? Marcus hired an attorney. It took 2 weeks until he was unable to afford the retainer. Margaret wrote emails. I have blocked them. Do you miss them? I considered that. Really thought about it. I miss who I believed they were. I don't miss who they really are. That is sad. No, it's liberating. I spent many years making excuses for them, telling myself that they were busy, worried, or going through something. I finally know the truth. They did not love me, they adored what I could offer them. I love you, Hudson said. I know you do. That is why you are here. Margaret visited my residence 6 months following the test. She looked awful. She has thin, dark rings under her eyes and drives a 10-year-old Honda instead of her Mercedes. Dad? Could we talk? No, thanks. I am imploring you. I lost everything. My home, business, and marriage. Doug left me. I live with a pal, I work at Target. I restock shelves. I need help. Miller's Diner is recruiting dishwashers. I mentioned that the grocery shop needed overnight stalkers. I worked those jobs for 20 years to raise you. Your turn. You cannot be serious. I have never been more serious. I am your daughter, and I am your father. When your father required medicine, you laughed at him. I didn't realize you had so much money. Exactly. You didn't know. So you showed me who you truly are. Someone who just worries about what benefits them. I apologize. I am sincerely sorry. I feel you are remorseful for failing the test. I don't think you're regretful about who you are. What do I need to do? What can I do to solve this? Nothing. There is nothing you can do. A failed test cannot be retaken. You cannot unblock a phone call. You can't stop laughing at your father's misery. She broke down and sobbed on my doorstep. I closed the door. And 1 year after winning the lotto, I received a call from Ben Carter. David, I have some news. Marcus filed for bankruptcy. Chapter 7. Total discharge. Good. You don't want to know the specifics? Not necessarily. Margaret, meantime, is suffering. Melissa's custody was lost. The courts granted Doug custody. She received supervised visitation. This is between her and the courts. You aren't feeling anything. I'm unhappy that my children have turned out to be individuals I don't respect, but I don't feel guilty. I gave them every opportunity to behave decently. They decided otherwise. And Hudson, who is prospering, made Dean's List. Has a summer internship at an engineering business. Good child. You did the proper thing for him. I did well by all of them. Only one person expressed appreciation.